Straws, what are they good for? Absolutely not. Some things, actually, some things. There's some useful tools that you can use a standard straw for when it comes to classical singing. You can use them for warm-ups, you can use them for a number of different ways. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tenor Talk, where we dive into everything opera, everything vocal technique, everything tenor. I'm Jose Simarija Romero, and today we are talking about something surprisingly powerful. Straws. Yeah, you heard me. Those little plastic or paper or silicone tubes you sip your iced coffee through can actually help you transform your singing technique. Especially for those of you that ask me quite a lot about chord closure and overall longevity in your vocal health. So stick around because we're going to get nerdy, practical, and just a little bit bubbly. So how is it possible that these can help you with your vocal singing and your vocal technique? Well, when you sing through a straw, you're doing a semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. This means that part of your vocal tract is slightly closed. In this case, your lips, because of the straw. This creates back pressure and a gentle resistance that reflects acoustic energy back towards your vocal folds. What does that do? Well, again, for those of you who are curious about closing your chords on the thin edge, how much closure is just enough? This kind of exercise helps your vocal folds vibrate more efficiently. It helps you coordinate the closure. They close in a clear manner without over-thickening and without looseness, and prevents unnecessary tension. Think about it like a warm-up massage for your voice. Simple, effortless, sustainable, and great for tuning in your resonance. So let's get anatomical. Here's what's happening inside your body. Your diaphragm, intercostals, and your larynx are all working together. They should be working together when we sing. The straw helps regulate airflow, giving you just enough resonance to develop strong subglottic pressure. What's subglottic pressure? Well, that is the pressure right below the vocal cords, and it's critical for solid breath support and resonant, sustained tone. The problem is that subglottic pressure can become too much and can fatigue you when we overclose our vocal cords and thicken them. When we inhale, immediately that air wants to come out. And because when we sing, we don't want to just blow out our air, we are in a way using our little vocal cords as a opening and closed door. We are sealing the only path the air has to escape, and therefore that creates pressure. Air wants to come out, vocal cords are closed and will not allow the air to come out. So we have pressure underneath the vocal cords. Too much closure literally feels like when you're holding your breath in and you're trying to sing at the same time. There's a feeling of grunt, and if you're grunting, it's a little bit of air squeaking through the vocal cords. Too little closure, and then we're just in this breathy sigh in which no clear phonation can come out of this, and the breath support is impossible to kick in or engage when your cords are wide open and loose, allowing for too much air to be escaped, and the pressure being too little that it's impossible to maintain a clear supported tone. So, two extremes. Take a look at my video about chord closure that goes more in depth if you're interested in this. So back to straws. The straw helps your vocal folds come together like you were to do a gentle kiss instead of a forceful slam. We had a wonderful guest come in, Andrew Owens, another fantastic tenor and good buddy of mine, that he mentioned, and I actually very much like this imagery, he mentioned that the vocal cords should come together on the thin edge as if you were imagining your lips to be the vocal cords and you were saying the word bubble, or like a B. So if you imagine your vocal cords to be your lips, this is what we're looking for. That kind of closure, that's it, like a kiss. Instead of a slam. And singing through a straw will actually help very much find just how minimal you need that chord closure to be to sustain a clear tone that is well supported but also doesn't feel like you're lifting 300 pounds. This way we can sing more bel canto and less help, I'm hoarse. Oh. So not all straws are created equal, right? There are bigger straws with a bigger opening, thinner straws with a thinner opening. I remember those little black coffee cups with a very tiny opening. This is important. Why? Because the thinner the opening, such as cocktail straws, the more resistance. The bigger the opening, the less resistance. For those of you who are starting out, who perhaps think that you're pushing a bit when you're singing, or you feel a little bit hoarse or you feel stuck, I suggest a bigger open straw. Just enough to feel resistance, but not too thin that it starts to backfire on us and it feels like we're blowing through a blocked pipe. Sometimes the thinner the straw allows the breath to also be too pressurized, too intense. And as a rule of thumb, we want a gentle resistance, not a struggle. So if you're struggling with a very tiny little opening straw, we don't want that because it's going to build habits of forcing and too much resistance. We want a steady stream of airflow that doesn't feel like we're just puffing air, but also just enough that we feel a steady stream of airflow. If you're more advanced and you've already done quite a lot of exercises with straws, with a thicker opening or a bigger opening, then you can go ahead, graduate to a thinner opening straw to feel how you can continue to strengthen that breath support and build up your capacity for that back pressure, that resistance, that impostazione, that subglottic pressure that we need to blast out like a cannon that beautiful resonant sound that's well supported but gentle and manageable here. At the end of this video, I'm also going to show you a very specific, very fun straw that I used to play around with a lot and that I still play around with to this day that I think a lot of you will like. But stick around to the end of the video and I'll show it to you then. So first things first, before we utilize a straw, we need to understand how to correctly use it for our singing exercises. Number one, put your lips around the straw, creating a seal around it, like so. Now we have a semi-occluded vocal tract. Next, inhale through that straw very deeply. You're inhaling that ooh, as if you're sucking through that straw, in which case you are, or imagine you're slurping noodles, or imagine you're slurping through a straw, just like you would use a straw when drinking your favorite cocktail. Now you have your open throat. As you blow air through the straw with a nice hum, make sure that you're not phonating nasally. In other words, if you put your thumb and you block the outer opening, the sound should stop. If it doesn't stop, you're singing nasally. We don't want nasal singing, especially for this exercise. We want to feel the back pressure. Think of the straw as an extension of your vocal cords, and think of the opening of the cords as the opening of the straw. If you block that opening, that's it. No air is flowing out, therefore no phonation. Another thing to watch out for, we don't want a breathy falsetto sound while phonating through the straw. Although I have to say, this is the reason why straws are a good exercise, because it's very difficult to sing in full falsetto while phonating through a straw. We want to make sure that we have a connection, and you'll feel it. It doesn't feel like falsetto, it feels like a thin resistance. Not that. That. And lastly, just as I spoke about in my recent video about keeping everything vibrating, think about the vibrato, think about the pulse. Try not to sing straight tone. I understand that for many of you, vibrato is still something you're trying to discover. Remember, it's something you allow. So stay very relaxed. Do not clench your jaw. Do not tighten your tongue. Don't tighten or tense anything. You're just blowing through a straw. Feel the vibrato, feel the vibration, feel the looseness. Keep everything spinning even though you're blowing through a straw. Not this. Straight tone. Keep everything vibrating. Feel that pulse. Okay, so some exercises and warm-ups to try with a straw. Number 1, the bubble warm-up. Get a cup of water. In this case, we're using our favorite mug, our Hook Push and Pray mug, which is available now at the CTS store. You're gonna grab your favorite mug and you're gonna fill it up with water. This one's a fun exercise as long as you try not to make too much of a mess, because you can visually see the airflow. And if you're keeping the sound spinning, or if you're having trouble finding that spin, finding that vibration, this one might help because you can feel the pulse of the airflow as it touches the water and creates bubbles. So we're gonna put our straw inside and we're gonna gently blow bubbles while humming. Stay in your speaking range and then slowly glide up and down. Slide up and down. It should feel smooth and relaxed. This is pretty obvious, but I'll say it just in case. Do not inhale while your straw is in the cup of water, as you will be slurping water, and I don't want any of you guys to choke. Effortless, easy, fun, a little messy. Keep the straw about 2 to 3 inches in the water, no more. There's no need to get a huge cup and put that whole straw inside there. Inside the water just enough to feel the airflow, feel how it touches the water, creates bubbles, and keep the spin. If you're not getting bubbles, which would be something very difficult for it to happen, it means you're not using any air at all. The more intense the bubbles, the more breath support you're utilizing. So yes, it does make a bit of a mess, but you want to aim for more bubbles. Another iteration of this is you can also do it while in the shower, so you make less of a mess. Or for those of you that like to take a bath, if you're already in the tub filled with water, just grab your straw, put it in the tub, and voila, you can try it there as well. Now, for those of you that don't want any water involved, you can just easily take out the straw and have a siren exercise. No water, just gently glide from low to high and back down. Keep it legato, no breaks, easy airflow. If you run out of air like I just did, take another breath and continue. If you want to do it standing up as well, while feeling that epigastric region protrude as we are releasing an energized flow of air, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm doing it sitting down because, well, the only way I can record the video. But normally, I would be doing these exercises in my upright, noble, singing position. Another easy exercise is to do arpeggios. An octave arpeggio. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Phonating it through a straw. Focus on connection and resonance. Number 4, staccato pops. Short pa 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 sounds through the straw. Great for agility, looseness, flexibility, and onset control. Some troubleshooting and tips. If your cheeks puff out, you're probably overblowing and you're probably also using too small of an opening. If it feels like nothing's coming out, try a wider straw. If you start to feel tension, back off. These exercises should feel relaxing and well supported. Think of it as a humming exercises with a straw. Not and not no. Just enough of a hum to find a nice, gentle, relaxed connection. Now think about doing that same exercise with the straw while blowing air through it. Very similar sensation. For those of you who can't quite find how much is too much, how little is too little, this is going to help. The wider the straw, the more air you're going to use. So do not be surprised if you run out of air frequently. If you want to try a smaller, thinner opening of a straw, but you don't have one, you can also just use your finger and block a little bit of the opening, maybe just half. So this is the full opening. And now I'm going to use my finger to block just half of it to give me a little bit more back pressure, more resistance. And you definitely feel the change by just blocking half of the opening, how much resistance it gives you. The smaller the opening, the more resistance. The bigger the opening, the less resistance. Less isn't necessarily better. More isn't necessarily better. We want to find that sweet spot. Just how much resistance is enough to find that connection and resonant phonation. Everyone's also in different levels. The more experienced one is, the more years of training they have, the more they're going to like a thinner straw because they feel more of that resistance, that pressure, that breath support. But for starters, keep it wide, keep it open to feel relaxed phonation and work yourself up to a thinner and thinner opening of a straw. Use a straw before and after rehearsals, during warm-ups, or even when you're vocally tired. The tool is simple, it's cheap, you can get it anywhere, and the benefits are actually quite useful and plenty. It's a great warm-up and it's a great cool down. And if you're feeling fatigue, it's a wonderful way to get your voice in working order without forcing or damaging it too much by trying to sing arias in the shower when you're tired. Now, I did talk about that if you stick to the end of the video, I was going to show you a special straw. During my time at Houston Grand Opera, as well as the Shepherd School in Houston, working with Dr. Stephen King for a bit, straws seem to be the obsession of everyone. Actually, you would see just constant students walking around with straws in their hand. And I was introduced to this, the wooden stick blowing balloon ball straw. I honestly don't know what the name of it is. There's different iterations. You can find them on Amazon if you put on the search bar, wooden stick ball straw toy. This one is called Blowing Balloons. For some reason, that's the name of it. They're incredibly cheap, incredibly affordable. You can even probably buy these in packets for, I don't know, $5, $6. I can't imagine it's more than 10. And the reason why they're so cool, it's because when you open them up, they come in with 2 balls and the straw. Now, what exactly is this and how does it pertain to singing and vocal technique? Well, if you put the ball on top of the straw, just like this, and again, there's different iterations, but the idea is the same. Not only do I very much like the resistance, the opening of the straw, because it's wide here, but very small internally, so it gives a nice medium resistance. Not too much, not too little, just in that sweet spot. But also, when you blow through it, the magic happens. It's super fun, and you could probably play this for hours and get distracted like I did. But as you're blowing, as you're phonating, the air levitates the ball. Your goal is that as you're doing your warm-up and exercise, do not allow the ball to fall, especially to reach its point as you're singing. That means not enough breath support is happening. If this is you, not enough breath support. Keep it going. It's gonna teach you just how active and how much a support plays into singing so that this can be gentle. Sing your arias through this, sing your warm-ups through this, glide up and down. Test if your high notes are too light in support. Or if the ball is staying afloat, perhaps they're in good breath support. Oh, almost lost it there for a second. Now, you can play with the ball as much as you'd like. It can sometimes also be a distraction. If you're moving while doing this, the ball could also just fall because of the movement. So try to stay still and don't become disheartened if it falls. It fell because of the movement. Now, you don't necessarily have to use the balls at all. Just the fabrication of the straw, the fact that it has a wide opening and a smaller opening at the end, it's just great to do all the things that we talked about in our video and use it as a normal straw. You can put this in any little backpack. It's wooden, so it's not going to break. Some of these plastic straws, they break quite easily. If you're using a paper straw, I know they're great for the environment, but for these exercises, they're not that great because as you put them back and forth in your mouth, your saliva will deteriorate a paper straw, so it will not last very long. You want something a bit sturdy, a thicker plastic or a wonderful wooden. This will last you for a very long time. And these came as a pair. So if you lose one, you have an extra set. And you do the same exercises we talked about. You can include your own warm-up exercises and you can sing your arias through them. One of the last things that I think is worth mentioning is that if you are a traveling singer, if you're staying in a hotel and need to warm up, or you live in an apartment in which you have neighbors and the walls are quite thin, I'm sure that as you warm up or as you try to do your warm-up routine, your neighbor is going to be knocking at your door to keep it down. The wonderful thing with this is that you can sing full voice connected, feel that gentle, relaxed closure without making any sound. It's almost like a silencer for the voice, a vocal dampener. You can blast out your high notes, and I'm sure your neighbors are not going to be knocking at your door for that little amount of sound. A final tip is, as you're doing these exercises, as you're doing your warm-ups or singing your arias through a straw, experiment with singing through the straw and then singing it normally. And seeing if you can replicate that sensation that you have from that back resistance you get from singing through its straw. That thin, easy chord closure. Very simple, very effortless. You can even do it more abruptly. going back and forth through the straw to phonation. Not going too thick as you come out, not going too loose. No. No. Just enough. So, before you tackle recondita armonia, before you tackle la donna immobile, or try to scream your way through di quella pira, we've all been there, grab a straw. Let your voice find balance, support, and freedom. And more importantly than anything, find that closure on the thin edge of the vocal cords. That gentle resistance. Resistance nonetheless, but gentle. Gentle adduction. Vicino al sol. Find the squeak. If you're interested about that, light adduction, like a light cough, or thinking of your vocal cords as that coming together as if saying bubble, or that gentle. Take a look at my video about the squeak, as I mentioned a lot about that thin edge closure that feels like falsetto, but with a gentle adduction, or vocal fry. That's how minimum of a closure we want to at least start out with as we progress through our vocal journey. Then we can develop it more and more and more. But for now, minimum adduction, just enough to connect. That's the goal. Just connect. Do not over thicken, just connect. And be able to do that from our lowest note to our highest note. That thin adduction up and down. Not over thickening as we go up, and not loosening and flipping to falsetto as we go up. We need to find this thin edge closure from down up. Through our full range of, through our full vocal range. We must be able to close our cords thinly from bottom to the top. Don't over thicken. No, and do not blow them open or loosen them for falsetto. No. Maintain the thin edge closure. That will give you the steel, the connection, the brilliance, the clarity that a tone needs for classical bel canto operatic singing. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hey, why don't you guys comment your favorite straw exercise? Let's keep the conversation going, and let's keep the technique growing, continuing to put opera and classical singing in the spotlight and raise the standards of great singing, just like it was before. Like always, these are my thoughts, my observations, things that I learned through my experience. You are in no way forced to do them. If you do not agree with anything that I have to say, no one's forcing you to try it out. I wish always the best of luck to anyone's vocal journey. If I was able to help even just one or two or just some of you, I am incredibly happy that I was able to be of some help, and that this was able to help some of you grow in your vocal journey. That's what this channel is all about. If you'd like to support the channel so we can continue to give content like this, think about becoming a member, where you guys get specific perks and benefits. There's exclusive benefits that allow you to get in touch with me in a more personal level if you have more in-depth vocal technique questions. We have members-only live streams, and you get priority replies to comments, and not to mention the CTS store, where you guys as members get a discount on all this fun opera, tenor, gimmick merchandise. All the support goes into continuing the channel and continuing sharing some hopefully useful information to all of you who are very passionate about singing and are looking to develop a vocal technique that's true to the old traditional Italian school of bel canto. Like always, keep practicing, keep studying, the work continues.